Hey, if you want to get some exclusive anime merch and also directly support this channel at the same time, check out our online store at AnimeUproar.com. We have original designs created by pro manga artist Kuzomari, including this Escanor Praise the Sun shirt. And now, featuring a brand new design, Meliodas Feel the Wrath. Link is in the description. You can use the discount code UPROAR25 for an instant 25% off at checkout. What is up, everybody? It's Animac here for AnimeUproar, and in this video I will be talking about one of the biggest unsolved mysteries in the entire world of the 7 deadly sins, the true race and origin of Merlin, the most mysterious member of the 7 deadly sins. When the story first begins, we are told that all 7 sins come from different races and clans. We know that Diane is a giant, King is a fairy, Escanor is a human, Bon is formerly a human but becomes immortal later, Meliodas is a demon, Gowther is an artificial creation, and Merlin, well, we don't know about Merlin. She is the only one whose true race and background is still a mystery, but while doing research for the dozens of 7 deadly sins videos that I've made here on the channel, I came across a bunch of fascinating clues and theories about the secret of Merlin's true race and origin. In this video, I will be going over all of the clues throughout the story about Merlin's background, and I will give you my theory about what I think Merlin's true race is. I've actually been meaning to make this video for quite a while, and I'm very excited to get into the dark past and true identity of a character as mysterious and interesting as Merlin. If you enjoyed the 7 deadly sins content on this channel, you can leave a like to let me know. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at AnimeUproar for all the latest 7 deadly sins updates. And finally, spoiler alert, I will have to go into all the information from the manga about Merlin to really do a good job with this video, so please proceed with caution. Let's start with what we do know about Merlin and her mysterious origins. Even though she looks like a young woman, Merlin is actually over 3,000 years old, and her true name is not Merlin at all. She only uses this name because humans cannot pronounce her true name. The fact that humans cannot pronounce her name clearly implies that she herself is not human, but it's actually a bit more complicated than that. Merlin was born in Belialuin, a city once known as the capital of the wizards, sometimes translated as the capital of the sages, but I will just say wizards from now on. Her birth was a very unique and noteworthy event because she was born with infinite magic, aka the magic ability called Infinity. Because of the incredible power of her magic, the warring goddess and demon clans both tried to get Merlin to come over to their side during the previous Holy War, and they each offered secret magical knowledge in return for her support. But rather than picking either side, Merlin tricked both the Demon King and the Supreme Deity into thinking that she was making a deal with them in order to receive the rare magical knowledge offered by both sides. So the Demon King gave her knowledge about the dark secrets of the demon realm and made her immune to the brainwashing and possession techniques used by the goddess clan. The Supreme Deity gave her the ability to protect herself against the dark curses used by the demons. The rulers of the goddess and demon clans were apparently so angry that Merlin tricked them in order to gain knowledge from both sides that they decided to destroy the entire city of Belialuin. But Merlin managed to escape the destruction, and she became the only known survivor from the capital of the wizards. It is believed that this is why Merlin is known as the boar's sin of gluttony. She couldn't say no to one side or the other, she just couldn't get enough secret magical knowledge, so she is a glutton for knowledge. It is worth noting that due to some confusion with the translation, many people believed that Merlin was the daughter of the Demon King and the Supreme Deity. However, in chapter 249, we learned that Merlin can't be the daughter of the Demon King and the Supreme Being because it was only after she was born and rumors spread about her ability to use infinite magic that the Demon King and the Supreme Deity took an interest in her. Also, in chapter 243, we briefly see Merlin's real father, who at the time was the only man aside from Meliodas to enter Purgatory. However, a minute in the outside world is equivalent to a year in Purgatory, and when Merlin's father returned from Purgatory, he was an old, decrepit man. So unless all of this information that we have is actually false, Merlin is not the daughter of the Demon King and the Supreme Deity. Other important things that we know about Merlin's mysterious past include the fact that she was trained in the magical arts by both her father and the original Gowther, former member of the Ten Commandments and the creator of the doll Gowther. While he was training her, the original Gowther stated that Merlin had potential beyond even his own understanding, which is a huge statement knowing how powerful the original Gowther was. Another interesting fact that we know about Merlin is that 3,000 years ago, she was very close to the original Elizabeth, the goddess Elizabeth, and she actually called her Big Sis. On top of that, we know that Merlin has a true form, and in this true form, Merlin looks like a small girl. Now, the question is, why does Merlin look like this in her original form? Is it simply because Merlin was that young when she first activated her magical ability called Infinity, and she simply stopped aging after that? Or is it because she is actually a member of a race of people that look this way? Kind of like the fairies all look very childlike. But we know that unlike the fairies, Merlin does not appear to have wings in her true form, and if she was something as obvious as a fairy, then they probably would have mentioned that. Also, when we see the flashback with Merlin's father, he looks like an adult man, so again, this might imply that Merlin just stopped aging early on in life because of Infinity. We can reasonably assume that Merlin is neither a pure goddess nor a pure demon, because neither the Demon King nor the Supreme Deity knew about her until they heard rumors about her power. We can also assume that she is not entirely human, because humans are not capable of pronouncing her true name. So, if Merlin is not a fairy, not a giant, not a demon, not a goddess, and not a human, could she actually be part of some completely different and unknown race? The Seven Deadly Sins story draws heavily from Arthurian legend and the mythology of the British Isles. And besides fairies, there are other creatures which appear childlike as Merlin does in her true form, including pixies and Spriggan. Pixies in particular are interesting because, unlike fairies, pixies are often depicted without wings. And pixies are thought to be more closely connected to humans than to magical creatures like the fairies. In fact, back in the 1800s, some scholars and historians believed that pixies were a real race of smaller humans rather than fictional creatures. This human connection is important because of what we learned in the new Seven Deadly Sins Prisoners of the Sky movie. When Solad the Celestial asks all the Sins, except for Meliodas who is not present at the time, if they are demons, Merlin clearly states that none of them are members of the demon clan. She says that Escanor is human, Ban is a former human, and she is, and I quote, well, something like that. So she tells us that she is not a demon, and that she is something like a human, but then she doesn't give us any more information after that. Now, I realize that some people consider the movie to be completely separate from the main story because of the inconsistent timeline. But I have to emphasize that the timeline being off doesn't mean that the information we got in the movie about the world and characters of the Seven Deadly Sins is completely false. In fact, the official mangaka Nakaba Suzuki really went out of his way to connect the information in the movie to the main storyline. Not only were the new characters in the movie created by the original mangaka, but in chapter 203 of the official Seven Deadly Sins manga, the 6 Knights of Black were actually mentioned. The Endura of Retribution that appears near the end of Prisoners of the Sky was also introduced in the manga. The name of this Endura is Barucha, and he was said to be an acquaintance of Galland. On top of that, Chapter 277 of the official manga features Solad and Elate, 2 characters from the movie, right on the cover. In the movie, we also learned the identity of the Mother of Chaos, and as a bunch of you wonderful space cowboys pointed out in my video about the Prisoners of the Sky movie, including Gogeta Ancienmon Vegito, the winged sword that we see in the movie is actually shown in chapter 274 of the manga. In a flashback, we see a young Mael wielding what appears to be that very same sword. So with all of these connections to the main storyline, I think that we would have to be crazy to just dismiss all of this new information that the movie gives us about the world of the Seven Deadly Sins. And if we accept that Merlin is not a demon or even half demon, as she says in the movie, and as is implied by the fact that she was born in the capital of the wizards rather than in the demon realm or the celestial realm, then we know that she is something like a human, but still not quite human. After all, regular humans can't pronounce her true name, even though they have no problem pronouncing the names of demons, goddesses, fairies, giants, or any other type of creature. In order to get to the bottom of what Merlin's true race is, we have to look at the place of her birth, Belialuin, the capital of the wizards, which was destroyed more than 3,000 years ago by the demon king and the supreme deity. The name Belialuin most likely comes from the word Belial, which was used to refer to the devil in Jewish and Christian religious texts. Merlin is called the daughter of Belialuin, and when certain characters hear this phrase, including powerful commandments like Grey Road and Fraudrin, they appear to be clearly intimidated by Merlin. Now, sons of Belial or daughters of Belial is a term that was used in biblical times to refer to lawless men. Basically, men and women who live outside the boundaries of the law. So outlaws, criminals, people who reject conventional society, and so on. This term had a clearly negative connotation. These were people who rejected the things that we consider to be valuable for society, such as rules and laws. These sons of Belial are basically considered to be criminals and sinners. So, what if this word Belial, which is the root of Belialuin, is actually a hint about the wizards and their true origins? Assuming that Merlin is telling the truth when she says that she is something like a human, what exactly could this mean? We know that in the world of the 7 deadly sins, not all humans are the same. For instance, the Druids are human, but they are a unique group of humans that live in isolation from other humans deep inside the forest. The Druids look like normal humans, although many of them tend to have silver hair or white hair, and the Druids worship the goddess clan, and they consider the demon clan to be their natural enemy. Unlike most ordinary humans, the Druids are much more in touch with nature, with animals, and with the spirit world, and as a result, they are able to perform magical spells and techniques that normal humans cannot. These spells include the ability to heal, as well as the power to destroy dark and corrupt souls, such as the souls of demons, which are all techniques that they share with the goddess clan. It is believed that these techniques were taught to the Druids by the goddesses as a reward for their devotion. Now, in order to perform these spells, the Druids are able to use secret incantations that other humans cannot understand. And that is somewhat similar to the fact that Merlin's true name cannot be pronounced or understood by humans. The fact that Merlin's true name cannot be pronounced by humans and the fact that she still describes herself as something like a human seem contradictory at first. But if the wizards from Belialuin were a unique group of humans like the Druids of Ishtar, perhaps humans who acquired certain special magical abilities that made them different from normal humans, then all of this starts to make a lot more sense. What if the wizards from Belialuin were humans who violated the laws of nature by experimenting with magic until they learned forbidden spells and became something different than just normal humans? Perhaps, just like the Druids worshipped the goddess clan and were rewarded in return with magical knowledge by the goddesses, the wizards worshipped another clan, perhaps the demon clan, and were rewarded by the demons with demonic magical knowledge. This would explain how the original Gowther, who was apparently a demon, just happened to be the person who trained Merlin. Maybe, like the pixies in British mythology, the wizards were originally human, but their use of forbidden magic and isolation from other humans made them into a unique group. A group that is something like humans, but not quite what we think of when we think of ordinary humans. If this were true, it would also explain the use of the word Belial for the capital of the wizards, Belialuin. Because the term sons of Belial or daughters of Belial was used to refer to lawless men and women, i.e. criminals and sinners, it makes sense that the wizards would inherit this name if, as I predict, they were experimenting with forbidden magic and committing acts that were considered taboo by the other humans. We already saw that humans who consume demon blood and experiment with it can actually use it to become more powerful, as the new generation of Holy Knights did. So perhaps the wizards did something similar. Perhaps they experimented with demon blood and other forbidden substances in order to make themselves far more powerful than ordinary humans. In some accounts of the legend of King Arthur, Merlin is said to have been born to a human mother and a demon father. And while it's obvious that we can't apply Arthurian legend too strictly in relation to the 7 deadly sins because in the legend Merlin is a man, not a woman, the idea that the wizards were perhaps using demonic magic or demon blood to become more powerful, and as a result Merlin ends up being born with infinite magic, could be a very interesting homage to the Merlin from Arthurian legend. So, is this the dark secret of Merlin's true race and mysterious origins? She is a member of the Wizards, a unique group of humans who became more powerful by violating the laws of nature and experimenting with forbidden magic. which eventually made them more than just human. They were still something like human, but not quite the same thing. You may think that if this were the case, we would have heard more about these wizards, especially since we do know quite a bit about the Druids. However, if we take into consideration that the capital of the wizards was destroyed by the Demon King and the Supreme Deity over 3,000 years ago, and Merlin is believed to be the only survivor, then of course we wouldn't know much about them. The wizards have been practically extinct for more years than almost anyone still alive can even remember, excluding of course Meliodas and some of the demons and goddesses. And Merlin herself is extremely secretive and mysterious, so it makes perfect sense that we know next to nothing about the wizards. However, I predict that we will learn more about them as the story progresses, and personally, I can't wait to find out the truth behind Merlin's origins and her incredible magic Infinity. But let me know what you guys think. Do you agree with my theory about Merlin and the wizards, or do you have a different theory of your own about Merlin's true race? Feel free to give me your thoughts down in the comments. Without having all the necessary information, we have no choice but to speculate, so if you have a different theory, no hard feelings, go right ahead. I mean, I don't know, maybe the answer is as simple as when Merlin's father went into purgatory, he ended up meeting the Mother of Chaos, they had a great time together, and Merlin was the end result. This would make Merlin half human, half creature from purgatory, and it would also explain her tattoo. Whatever your theory might be, if you enjoyed this video, you can leave a like to let me know. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell for more 7 Deadly Sins content. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at AnimeUproar for all the latest 7 Deadly Sins updates. As always, thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, see ya, Space Cowboys.